Hey everybody, my name is Dave McLaren and thank you for tuning in to CLF Research. Today we're going to do a little update on Project Wunkay Rehab. I apologize, it has been quite a long time. This is an L1000 that belongs to our friend Rob Wolanski, and this bass, the neck went bad. I mean, it's actually a pretty cool neck, but the neck is kind of wonky, and it had modifications done to it. It had like a jazz pickup. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, after the last one, I kind of pulled it apart. You could see what was under the hood. The first thing we decided to take care of is get a neck going, because obviously this was a good, cool feeling neck and everything, but we needed to make a new one, and I knew we could make a better one. So what we're gonna do is kind of flip through some of the pictures and some of the videos that we took along the way to get to this point. So the first one I'm gonna bring up here, this is what we call a neck blank. This is sort of the rectangle it begins from, and this being a maple neck, what we've done is you can see we've kind of cut off the top. That top of the board is going to be the fingerboard. So once we put the truss rod in and some graphite stiffening rods, the fingerboard's going to go back on. So it's really like a one-piece neck that's just been kind of opened up and then goes back together. This video shows you the truss rod channel. So all this is just the mill's just going in, and it's just making one cut. And I don't think in this video we show a couple other cuts for the graphite rods, but you're going to see them in a moment anyway. In this picture we see, here it is, the neck blank. It's got the truss rod channel, and it has the two additional channels for the graphite stiffening rod. Here's Manny. He's tapping in the truss rod right now. Now he's putting in the graphite stiffening rods. Manny rolling out some tight bond glue. This is the classic wood glue that we've been using in the guitar business forever. Okay, this video is just a little overview. What we've already done is we put the fingerboard on and we put it in a press to dry. So that kind of clamps the fingerboard down to the neck. We got the truss rod and the graphite stiffening rods inside. And this little flyover just kind of shows you what it looks like once it comes out of the press. So at this point, it kind of looks like it did before a little bit, but now our truss rod and the graphite stiffening rods are inside. We are just making the tuning machine holes. Okay, now we're coming in for the mounting screw holes for the tuning machines. Okay, and in this clip what we've done is we've flipped the neck over now, and what we're doing is taking a first kind of scoop away of material that's going to be the headstock face. This is just kind of a rough mill just to take a bunch of the material out of the way. This one's sort of like the follow-up to that rough cutter, and you can see it has this nice radius shape to it. So as we pass this over the headstock, that gives the nice transition from the top of the fingerboard into the headstock face, and the rest of it's nice and smooth. And when you see these lines on here, if you kind of look on the headstock face as the cutter passes over it, all that really is as the cutter's passing over it, it's actually kind of polishing some of that grain, kind of pressing it one way, and then as it's coming the other way, kind of pressing the other way. So it looks as though it's kind of scalloped, but it's not. It's actually flat. It's just sort of buffed the grain a little bit. But this is cooler. Hey, now we're going to see the perimeter cut. Now we're going to see we're going to go around the outside with a rough mill, first pass. Okay, and after that pass, we just kind of pushed off a bunch of that lovely maple wood chips that we make here. And now we're coming again with the finer cut mill, so that we just call it the cleanup cut. So as you can see, it's going around it's following the same line, but it's just coming a little bit closer and a little bit cleaner. Okay, now what we're doing is we're going to take some material off the back side of the neck. So this is kind of like a rough cut for the back shape. It's not super precise because we're going to dial that in with the hand sanding, but this takes it most of the way there. And similarly, we're going to use a ball end mill on the face of the fingerboard. So this is just kind of rough cut our radius onto the fingerboard. In this video, we're just drilling the face position dots. And now we're filling in those dots with tight bond glue, the same stuff we used to glue the fingerboard on. And in go the dots. Again, we're using black dots on this maple board because we want our neck to have the vibe like the old one. And here we're using the Famco press just to press those dots in, just get them seated nicely on the bottom. And in this video, Josh is just kind of taking a little bit of material off the top. So we rough cut the radius, we put the dots in, and he's just giving a little bit of a kiss off the top just to get some of the, just to take some of that extra material of those dots off before we're going to put it back on the machine. Okay, so after Josh just used that deadhead sander just to kind of take a bunch of that extra dot material off, now he's able to use the hand block for radius sanding to smooth that out. After Josh did the block sanding, so now we got this real nice clean radius. We'll put it back in the machine, and in this clip you're just going to see us using what's called a Technara right angle head. Basically it's just taking the vertical motion of this head and turning it into a right angle motion so we can have a saw blade. Make these little cuts right here for the nut and then the fret slots. And the cool thing about using the Technara head for that versus like our old day where we have the arbor and there would be a lot of individual saw blades is back in the old days we have individual saw blades. They might start to wear out a little bit at different times. This way we're using one blade and we get to change it all the time. So these things are always just beautifully done now. So that's a nod to the present technology that we didn't have back then. Okay, so let's talk about the body now. First thing we're gonna look at again is this body when, first thing I did is I pulled out this jazz bass Bartolini pickup that was inside there. So this is what was underneath. So in this picture you can see that Josh has made a little template to take out some material. We don't want a lot of gaps for glue. We want to put this wood in there and it, really feel like it's originally part of the body. Okay, in this video, he's just continuing the routing. Now he's going in deep. You see the template's gone because he used the template to get kind of like the first, I guess the first cut down there. And once it's deep enough there, he could get rid of the template, and you can see he's using that first cut as the template to go further. And you see we get to the bottom. Josh has already gone ahead and made a kind of a mirroring piece. It's a plug that's going to fit inside there. Here's a picture of it. And now it's glue time. So Josh has got the tight bond glue. Go ahead and get plenty of that in there. And here's the moment the plug goes in. The mahogany is filling up the hole left from mahogany from 40 years ago. And boy, it sure looks like it was made for it. He's tapping it in, get it, because we really want to get that thing seated very well. And here's a picture of it after you can see he's tapped it, and one more picture after he's kind of shaved it down. Now he didn't take it down too far because he knows this thing is going to dry. There could be a little bit of shrinkage, expansion, or so forth. So what he doesn't want to do is take down too much in case as it dries it sinks in, because then you'd have a problem. Now you'd have like bodywork having to skim fill, and we don't want that. I wanted to cure for a while with the plug in there, so I just put it in the lab. That's where you see that cart, that's behind Leo Fender's office desk. And here's another picture of it hanging out with a couple of the old prototypes. I figured if it's gonna spend time, let's have it hang out with Leo's stuff. Why not? This neck is ready to have some frets put in it and go to sanding and have the rest of the shaping done. But we want to make sure that our neck pocket is going to be well suited to this. So we got a couple of pictures here showing how nice this fits. And this, it's just perfect. So when we get some lacquer on this thing, it's just gonna just fit just beautifully. Okay, so back with the body. We really gave this kind of a while. I wanted to give it a long time to let it set, because I want this mahogany just to be beautifully one with the wood that was originally in there. So the other day I just went down to Custom Shop, and Ed gave this a little shave down, so he's starting to get this prepared, because what we're going to do on this body is what I'm calling nitro patchwork. Rather than, I don't want to strip and repaint this. This thing has all this beautiful checking and had all these chips, so I didn't want to take that away from it. So here we have the body after Ed's done some of this prep for what I'm calling the nitro patchwork, because this body is just, I mean, it has all these beautiful chips, all this beautiful checking on it. I mean, it has 40 years, it has its life story to tell. Look at this beautiful wear in here. I can't take that away from this base. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do some localized nitrocellulose work here, and then kind of blend it, relic it a little bit. You can imagine. Our goal is to make that mod go away and look like it just never happened. And the neck is gonna come out looking like this guy from 1980, but it's gonna feel better, and it's gonna work better, and it's just gonna be all around better. And the thing is, that's a cool thing. I can sit here in Leo Fender's lab and I go, I know what we're gonna make here in his house is better than what he was doing then. And I know he'd expect that from us. And I'm proud to sit here in this chair and know that we can do it. And this thing, this beautiful 1000 is gonna return to being a proper 1K. And I'm really looking forward to that. So the next video on this is going to be about the completion of this, because really once we do a little sanding here and that, this is going to get nitrocellulose, this is going to get nitrocellulose, so then we're going to have a couple of weeks at least of waiting, curing, maybe a few weeks, because I really don't want to rush it. And then we're going to start putting these together, and then we'll have the video that just wraps this thing up, and it's going to be cool. I'm really psyched about Project 1K Rehab coming together. And Rob, sorry it's taken so long, but I think it's going to be worth it. Thanks everybody. I really appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.